Fired up and ready to go on a Thursday. Welcome in to Southern Sports Now, May 25th, 2023. It is 10 o'clock, and we are ready to go. I'm Chase Robinson. We are back for another hour of Southern Sports Now. We got a big show today, a couple of guests, a lot to discuss over the next 60 minutes. But I want to remind you where you can watch us. That is on the East Alabama Now YouTube channel. You can share it with your friends from there. You can comment on there and interact with us throughout the show. We are on the East Alabama Now Facebook page. You can watch along with us there. Share it with your friends. You can comment there as well, and we'll see those comments, interact with them throughout the show. Give us a follow on Twitter at EAN_sports. And you can find the link to watch there on Twitter as well. So check us out there, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Search for East Alabama Now. While you're there, subscribe, follow, like, whatever it is you got to do on that platform, do it. And you can get notified when we go live each and every day at 10 o'clock. Maybe you're watching later on the archived edition on YouTube and Facebook. Remember, we're live at 10 a.m. You can join us. That way you can comment and interact with us throughout the show. So a lot to get to today, but as always, we start out with our top 5 headlines of the day. Let's jump to it. First one, Jax State wins their ASUN tournament opener against Stetson 6-1 last night behind 10 hits. Another 10-hit game for Jacksonville State. Now, the way the ASUN tournament works, it's very bizarre how they have this, but Jacksonville State really needed that win yesterday to help their chances of getting to the semifinals. It's separated into 2 pools, Pool A, Pool B. Gamecocks are in Pool B. Pool A has 3 teams to get to the semifinals. Pool B only has 1, so you really have to win out your pool games to make it to the semifinals. And so that was big for the Gamecocks to start off with a win yesterday over Stetson again 6-1. They will play again tonight in Game 2 of the ASUN tournament. That will be against Eastern Kentucky. Braves beat the Dodgers 4-3 in the series finale. Nice job by the Braves. Great pitching from Bryce Elder. We'll look at some highlights later on in the show, but the Braves had to do it in walk-off fashion, and they did, as Ozzie Albies got a walk-off hit to score Austin Riley, and the Braves get the win 4-3. So a big win last night for the Bravos. Alabama put together a great performance against the number 2 team in the country, number 1 team in the SEC tournament, the Florida Gators. It took 11 innings, but Florida walk-off 3-run homer to beat the Crimson Tide. We'll talk more about Alabama. I like the way they're playing right now, and for them to be able to take that game to 11 innings, really incredible by the Crimson Tide yesterday. Auburn falls to Vanderbilt. 9-game win streak for Auburn heading into that game ends at the hands of the Vanderbilt Commodores. It's a really good baseball game as well. Low-scoring affair, but Auburn falls. And that sets up an Alabama-Auburn game this afternoon. That will be fun to watch later on. NFL rule change. Had this on the docket yesterday, did not get to it, but I thought this is interesting. NFL changes the touchback rule. Anything caught inside the 25-yard line, play will start at the 25-yard line. So is this familiar? Yes, it is very familiar. That's what happens in college football. This to help cut down on the amount of concussions that come on kick returns. So if the ball caught inside the 25-yard line, the whistle blows, it's a touchback. Used to be it had to go into the end zone for it to be a touchback, but now anything inside the 25-yard line, whistle blows, they'll start play at the 25. So rule change in the NFL as far as touchbacks to help with player safety. Excited about the next hour or so, a little less than an hour now. Alphonso Freeney, he is the new head football coach of the Saks Wildcats, former Jacksonville State Gamecock. He will join us coming up at 10:20. We'll talk about his moving to Saks. He is currently former coach down in Florida, so we'll get his thoughts on coming to take over the Saks football program. Also, Gray Robertson of the Crimson Tide Sports Network, the analyst for Crimson Tide softball, will join us as Alabama gets ready for a big weekend in Super Regionals. All that coming up on the show today. Braves talk, SEC baseball talk, all that to come. We'll grab a break now. On the other side, we'll get you ready for that Alabama-Auburn baseball game coming up later today as we continue Southern Sports Now on a Thursday. Stick around.
We're excited to announce that starting this April, we'll be entering into the cabinet business. With that in mind, we're going to change our name to Ted's Floors and Beyond. The Beyond encompasses everything that we do in addition to all of your flooring needs.
We've partnered with Welber Cabinet Company, who makes the highest quality cabinets in the industry.
So when you're ready for a complete kitchen or bathroom remodel, shop Ted's.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings. Stop paying rent for storage. With Waldrop's price per foot, you can actually save money by buying straight from the manufacturer. Waldrop buildings are guaranteed because Waldrop manufactures buildings with U.S. steel right here in Calhoun County. Waldrop Manufacturing, serving the entire Southeast. Give them a call today.
East Alabama Now Local News has been bringing you the best local news coverage for 6 months. And now we're growing.
EAN News will be available to you 5 nights a week with new faces, new content, and coverage that is second to none.
We'll be bringing you the weather that matters to your neighborhood and to you. Rain or shine, you'll be in the know.
Sports always brings communities together, and EAN Sports will have coverage of all of our area events.
East Alabama Now, local news, new faces, same great coverage. Starting 5 days a week, May 1st, EAN Local News, your news on your schedule.
Ted's Floors and Beyond brings you this segment of Southern Sports Now. Ted's Floors and Beyond, they have teamed up with Welborn Cabinet to offer you a complete kitchen or bath makeover. And the folks at Ted's are ready to help you out. You can go by and see them there, Highway 431 in Anniston. You can go in the store. They will immediately greet you and help you with whatever you need. So let's say you want to have a kitchen or bath makeover. What they can do is cabinets, countertops, flooring, backsplashes, and tile showers. Maybe you just need floor. They've got hardwood. They've got laminate, carpet, tile, and luxury vinyl. Lifetime warranty on flooring installation, 0% interest financing for 12 months, and free in-home estimates. They're locally owned and operated, so you need to choose Ted's Floors and Beyond for all things floors, and now all things kitchen and bath makeovers. So go by and see the folks at Ted's Floors and Beyond. They will help you out and get you going with your new project. So we appreciate Ted's Floors and Beyond for sponsoring this segment of Southern Sports Now. Great guests on the show today, so stick around. Alphonso Freeney, Saks head football coach, will be joining us in just a little bit around 10:20. Gray Robertson will join us at 10:40, talk some Alabama softball as they get ready for the Super Regional. So jam-packed show today. Remember, like, share. You can comment on Facebook and YouTube. Jeremy Scott dropped a comment in a moment ago. He's looking forward to Alabama baseball this afternoon, the Iron Bowl of baseball. He says, roll tide here to see more SEC baseball. So appreciate Jeremy Scott for watching and commenting there on our Facebook stream. You can do that same thing as well. Let us know what you think about SEC baseball tournament as Alabama last night goes to 11 innings with the Florida Gators. This was a battle there in Hoover. I mentioned this in the headlines. Florida number 2 in the country. Florida number 1 in the SEC tournament. Alabama comes in, though, very hot. And we've talked about it with several guests, the fact that this Alabama baseball team is playing really good baseball at the right time. This was a fantastic performance from the Tide. You just have to hate the way it ended. But it showed, I think, what kind of baseball team this team is and how Jason Jackson has them clicking right now, interim head coach. The guys have not backed down. They're ready for a challenge. They're healthy. They're confident. And in baseball, if you're healthy, you got a leg up. If you're confident, you have even more of a leg up. And that's what this Alabama team is right now. They fought and fought and fought with the second-best team in the country. And I think this is a team, even if they were to drop that game against Auburn later today, that this could be a team that we could see win some games in the regionals, that we could see make a run. Again, like I said yesterday, I don't know if this quite is a team that could make it to Omaha, but it's a team that could make some noise trying to get there. That's just what kind of team Alabama is. Andrew Pickney is really leading this team. He has got a cannon for an arm, threw a guy out from center field a couple of days ago, has a great bat. Several guys from Alabama, of course, on the All-SEC second team and all-freshman team. But this is a good baseball team that's hot at the right time. And that's how you have to be in baseball. I could kind of compare them to Ole Miss yesterday. You think back to the 2022 version of Ole Miss where they had a decent season. They got hot later in the season, had an all right SEC tournament, won their regional, went to Omaha, won the national championship. They just got hot at the right time. I think of the 2021 Braves. They got hot at the right time, won the World Series. Alabama is playing really good baseball. They're getting hot at the right time. I like their chances really right now against anybody they play. Now, it comes down to execution and consistency and can they beat the opponent. But stacking them up 1-to-1 against the other team, I like Alabama's chances, but again, it comes down to performance. On the other side, Auburn, they also fell yesterday to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt has been one of the most inconsistent teams, I think, in the SEC, but yesterday they got the plays, they got the hits they needed in order to beat the Auburn Tigers. Auburn's offense looked good again last night. They were able to get some hits, put the ball in play where they needed to, but still not enough to get a win. I was just talking about Alabama and being hot at the right time. I really think this Auburn team is clicking and hot at the right time. Put them 1-to-1 against anybody else. I like their chances. It just so happens that Alabama and Auburn play today. One of them will be eliminated, but I like Auburn. You see 9-game win streak in the SEC. In the conference that they're in right now, those games come against LSU. Those games come against Ole Miss, against Vanderbilt in a series a few weekends ago. They come against Missouri. I mean, these are not shabby wins that Auburn's gotten. They did something that no team had done 3 weeks ago when they took out LSU. So this Auburn team, again, is clicking. They are hot at the right time. So that brings us to today, to the present. Both teams lost last night. I didn't think that both teams would lose last night. I thought Auburn was going to get a win. I thought that was going to be a tough game for Alabama against Florida. But that brings us to today, where we will see the Iron Bowl on the baseball field as Alabama and Auburn will take the field together later on. We have seen one series this season between the two teams, and it was Alabama winning the series 2-1. Auburn won the Friday game 8-4. Alabama won Saturday and Sunday. They won the Saturday game 4-2 and Sunday 6-1. But you have to think, this series was the weekend of April 14th, 15th, and 16th, so mid-April. It's been a month since these two teams have played each other. A lot has happened in the last month for both of these teams, whether it's guys being healthy, whether it's, of course, all the garbage that happened with Alabama off the field. I think that was kind of a turning point for Alabama. So these are two totally different teams is what I'm saying. When you look at it in kind of a big picture form, these teams are totally different. They're playing really good baseball. They're hitting the ball better. They're pitching the ball better. We're seeing a lot of depth from both teams. I think if you look at depth, Alabama definitely has the upper hand as far as depth. But when you look at pitching, I think Auburn has the upper hand in pitching, the way those guys are throwing right now. I'm excited for this game. This should be a really, really classic college baseball game. Two teams are hot right now. Like I said, unfortunately, one of these teams is going to be eliminated out of this tournament, but I don't think it's going to hurt their chances of a regional bid and possibly one of these teams hosting a regional, either in Tuscaloosa or down in the Plains in Auburn. But we don't get this a lot. It's been since 2013 since Alabama and Auburn have played each other in the SEC baseball tournament. So this is this is rare, but it's exciting, and especially the way these two teams are playing, and you've got to win or go home is where we're at right now in the SEC baseball tournament with them losing last night. So winner keeps moving on, and whoever wins this game, I think, has a chance to really surprise some folks and beat maybe an Arkansas or a Florida or an LSU. I really think Alabama and Auburn both are capable of doing those things and beating those teams. But I'm excited to see it. Alabama and Auburn baseball coming up later this afternoon there at the Hoover Met. And with it being in the state of Alabama, I imagine there is going to be a lot of tickets sold to that game if they weren't already. So that session of the SEC baseball tournament, I'm sure a lot of tickets will be sold there in Hoover. But SEC baseball, always fun, really the best conference tournament in the country. And it'll be fun to see the Iron Ball on the diamond coming up later today. But coming up here on this show, we're going to talk some high school football next. Alphonso Freeney, he is the new head football coach of the Saks Wildcats, joins us next.
We're excited to announce that starting this April, we'll be entering into the cabinet business. With that in mind, we're going to change our name to Ted's Floors and Beyond. The Beyond encompasses everything that we do in addition to all of your flooring needs.
We've partnered with Welber Cabinet Company, who makes the highest quality cabinets in the industry.
So when you're ready for a complete kitchen or bathroom remodel, shop Ted's.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rodney Sneed from both CARES and Direct Primary Care. Direct Primary Care is an exciting new model of medical care growing on both the East and West Coast. It's been recommended by Forbes and the American Academy of Family Physicians and others for individuals or small businesses with or without health insurance. The pure simplicity of a membership model streamlines the burden of medical care. It eliminates 60% of the overhead. That streamlining allows providers time to focus on patients with free, no copay, no deductible, unhurried office visits or telehealth visits with minimal waiting room time. It produces same or next day appointments and access by text or telephone during and after hours. It saves you from leaving work, wasting time and getting exposed in a waiting room, and the convenience and cost with barriers removed helps one avoid letting problems like a sore throat turn into an expensive ER or hospital visit for pneumonia. If you're interested, search the web for CARES Direct Primary Care.
Welcome back in Southern Sports Now here on this Thursday morning. Chase Robinson here with you. Glad you're hanging out with us as we roll through this morning. We've got had a lot to get to. We've got a lot more that we'll cover on the show, but right now we're going to talk some high school football, specifically some Saks Wildcats high school football, as we welcome on their brand new head coach, Alphonso Freeney, joining us now. Coach, welcome on. How are you today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How you doing?
Doing great. Glad to have you on, and glad to have you here in Calhoun County, new head coach of the Saks Wildcats. So, first of all, I know you played football at Jacksonville State, so Gamecock fans are familiar with you, and you're familiar kind of with this area. But talk about kind of how this came about of you getting the job with the Wildcats.
So, man, I'll be honest with you. It kind of just came to me. I'm in Florida right now at a school called Pasco High School. We did really well last year. It was my first time being a head football coach, although I've coached at Mitchell High School for about 7 years prior to that. And we did really well this past year. We ended up making the playoffs for the first time in, I think, 10 years. And then I'm looking, and I've always wanted to go back to what I call home. You know, it's like my second home. And I saw the Saks job opened up, and I said, like, even when I was there, it was a good job. And so I just kind of reached out to some friends, and one of my buddies was like, hey, he actually called me and said, hey, Alphonso, I need you to maybe thinking about applying for the job. And, I went and did it, and the rest is history, man. And I'm thankful for it.
For sure. And you mentioned coaching down in Florida, taking kind of a team that hasn't won a lot and turn that program around. What would you say maybe your philosophy and everything as a coach are for maybe some Saks fans watching? They're wondering what you're going to bring to the table at Saks. What's kind of your philosophy as a coach?
My philosophy as a coach is you're a student first. I think first and foremost, they've got to know how to be a great student and win in the classroom. When you can win in the classroom, man, the X and O's and the football stuff, that's easy. We took that approach at Pasco, and it was discipline. Like, you have to don't embarrass your football team, don't embarrass your program, don't embarrass me, and don't embarrass your family. That's kind of the thing we live by, and we took that approach, and that's kind of my approach to the game, man, is if you can handle your business in school, make sure you take care of your grades and things like that. And, I got some guys that we've already talked about, they want to play college football, and I tell them, man, if you get above a 3.0, it opens up a lot of doors in that aspect that I can get you to different places when it comes to college football. So, everything I do is going to be educational based, and you got to be a great student first. And if you're not a great student, then you can't play on Friday nights.
Yeah, I like that. And you have former, of course, played in high school, played in college. How much has your experience of as a player, whether high school or playing at Jacksonville State, how much has that helped you as a coach now, kind of relating to the players, maybe knowing a little bit more about how to develop these players? How much has being a player helped you now as a coach?
I think it's helped me out a lot. I think it's helped the coaches that I had. I had Trent Taylor when I was in high school, and then I had Jack Crow in college, and, even Jimmy Ogle. Those guys have just been a big influence on me in the way that they helped develop me. I think it helps. Also, I think I can take the things that I've learned along the way, and I give it back to the kids. Like, I'm not a hypocrite. Like I tell kids all the time, I'm not being a hypocrite about it. Like, I probably did some things wrong that I wish I could go back and do it a different way. But I think the whole reason that I love what I do and I love coaching is I don't want these kids to make the same mistakes that I made along the way. So I'm able to really give them my life experiences and help them and guide them along the way so that, they're being the most successful version of themselves that they can be.
Yeah, for sure. And we're talking with new Saks head football coach Alphonso Freeney. And coach, the Saks program, you mentioned it, is a program that has won a lot of games, that traditionally a playoff team. has had some big names come out of Saks. You're taking over for a coach who's been there for a long time, and Jonathan Miller. You're stepping now up to the plate there at Saks. You mentioned you kind of knew about this program. What did you know about Saks, and now that you're here, what have you in your time? I know you're still down in Florida, but in your time being at Saks, being around the folks in the community there at your meet and greet, what did you learn about Saks, and what are you excited about being with the Wildcats?
I'm just excited about the community. I'm leaving a place that the community's big and they love their football. And it's like I'm going to another place and the community loves their football. They love the kids. They want to see the kids do well. I think that's very important anywhere. One thing that I knew is I know Saks had runs where, they've had teams that could have had opportunity to win that state championship. And I think I'm bringing that mindset to Saks, though, is I want to win a championship. I don't want to be a region runner-up. I don't want to be, state run. I want to win a state championship, and that's the goal at Saks, and that's going to be what we're going to work towards. And I think you can do that at Saks. I think Saks has the athletes. I think they have the support. I'm one of these guys. Like I'm a former high school athlete, and I did a lot for my school when I was there. So I'm gonna be reaching out to those guys. That's helped build and lay the foundation for Saks and get them back, because I think sometimes in high school sports that's like a missing thing, or where we look at those guys that help build and bring them back. So I'm gonna try to get those guys to come back to also help me build this thing, man. And I think that's a very big thing, and I think the community and the alumni at Saks, I think that's also a big draw, and there's something that I love about Saks.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you've been coaching down in Florida. You played in Alabama. You've coached in Florida. I think a lot of people, there's a misconception. Florida high school football is really, really good. How does it compare to the Friday nights in the state of Alabama?
So I'll tell you the biggest difference. The athletes here in Florida, they're really, really, really good. Like, they're some of the best athletes in the world. I coach some guys that they're going to be NFL guys, and I tell you what, I think the biggest difference is those Friday night lights. Like, we had a few games where we packed out the stadium, and it was wild. But I tell you what, I think the biggest thing that I take away from Alabama is I remember it didn't matter how good we were. The stadium was rocking on Friday nights, and everybody in Alabama loved their football. The resources in Alabama, it's amazing, and I think I'm gonna be able to take some of the things that I learned from Florida, like from the recruiting aspect, and I think Florida's a little further along in that aspect than some states, with using social media and those things to push your athletes and market your athletes. So I'm gonna bring all that stuff to Saks too, and bring it to Alabama. And I think the athletes at Saks, like that, they're very comparable to the athletes in Florida, which is crazy to me. So it's almost like the schools are almost identical. So I think that's a really cool thing.
Yeah, for sure. And again, we're talking with the new Saks head football coach, Alphonso Freeney. And Coach, you played at Strawn High School. Like we said, you went and played at Jacksonville State. So you've been a player. You're now into coaching. How have you seen the game, like high school football, change since you played to when you were in college, now to your coaching high school football? How have you seen the game progress, for the good, for the bad? Like, how have you seen the game change since you were a player?
The biggest thing has to be social media and the recruiting aspect of it. I think it's easier now for kids to recruit. Back when I played, it was you made the DVDs and you had to send them off and things like that. Now I can just email a coach. I can just text a coach. It's almost immediate access to college coaches. I think that's one of the biggest changes, biggest difference. I think the kids too, like, man, I look back at the game and we were big and fast, but these kids they're a little bit bigger, a little bit faster than I can remember whenever we were growing up. And I give that to technology and resources and those type of things. I think for the negative is how hard it is now with the transfer portal and all those things when it comes to getting college coaches to look at high school kids. And man, I love those guys, those college coaches that still, stop by the high schools and they're looking at all the high school kids. I spoke with a coach yesterday, and that whole thing is changing the game a little bit with the transfer portal. Also hope, man, I hope the NIL stuff stays out of high school. I feel like at some point later on in my life, and it's probably going to trickle down to it. But I just hope that if it does, we handle that the right way. But those are kind of the biggest changes. Like when I played, it was just, hey man, let's just go play ball and things like that. But now you got kids, kids also are chasing scholarships, and I hate that part. Like, and that's another thing I love about Saks. Those kids are loyal to Saks. and I love that part about Saks. But I know I dealt with it here in Florida with man, like you'll have a kid that's playing for your team one at practice on Thursday, and something happens and they can transfer and be at another school practicing that next week. So, that's the biggest things that have changed and that I've seen change throughout my time playing.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Again, we're talking with Alphonso Freeney, new Saks head football coach. And Coach, season will be here before we know it. What's the plan now? You take over a program. Of course, you're having to move up here to Saks, but kind of what's the plan for the summer, and what's that look like getting ready for the season?
So right now we're still working on getting a house, man. But no, me myself, I still have tons of friends up there that I played ball with or met throughout college. So I'll be up there. June 5th is when we're kicking off our summer workouts. 8 o'clock. We're gonna get rolling, man. And I think the big thing for us is to make sure we establish a culture in our weight room. That's going to be big. I'm a big weight room guy. Like, you got to start from the bottom and build up. And then, just start getting our 7-on-7 in. We're going to be in a tournament at the end of June. Those kind of things. And the biggest thing, man, I'm just ready to get there with the kids. I text with some of them already. Like, we message back and forth. And, one of our guys, he was excited yesterday. We got him an offer from Edward Waters. So that was a big deal for us, and just things like that. Like I'm very excited to get up there and get started, and we're ready to get rolling, man.
You bring something up. I'm curious. Is it, as a new coach, someone coming in from out of the area to a new school, is it hard to develop relationships with the players at the new school, or just because of their excitement, is it easier of they're excited for a new coach coming in?
I really like. I mean, I do what I did the same thing that I did when I came to Pasco, and it wasn't a new area. I just started reaching out to kids. I tried to create a page for them, a football page on Twitter for them, and things like that. And I gave them all my phone number, so I'm very accessible to them, so they can make sure they ask me questions and anything they have. That I can answer, I want them to ask me. But yeah, it's been pretty easy, man. Like, at the end of the day, I've been doing this for a long time, man, and I do it because I love the kids and I love to see them be successful. So the building the relationships and things like that, that's kind of what I live for with this stuff. And it's been this has been fairly easy. I tell you, the hard part is the kids that don't really get on the social media, don't really text a lot, or may not have a phone. Like, it's hard to do it with them. So that's why I'm ready to get there, so I can start building that relationship with them and getting to know them. And at the end of the day, man, I'm just a guy to get these kids to where they want to be. And like I said, and just make them the most successful version of themselves. And so, yeah, that's just when you do what you love to do, is, it's fun. So this part of it is fun to me.
Yeah, for sure. And last question for you, Coach. For the Saks fans watching who may not have got to meet you or talk to you yet, who are they getting? Who is Saks High School getting in Coach Alphonso Freeney?
You're getting a guy that's striving to be great. I'm still a work in progress. You're getting a guy that's gonna push your kids. I'm gonna coach them hard, but I'm also gonna love them more than probably anybody else. Like, I care about the kids. I've always cared about the kids. Probably the hardest thing for me doing doing this is leaving the kids that I had at Pasco, you know. But again, you're getting a guy who's always going to be there for your kids, and you're getting a guy that's a family guy. You know, I got a wife, I got 2 kids, so I understand family. I love my family. So when I say that you're part of my family, you know, that's not taken lightly. So that's what you're going to get. You're going to get a guy that loves ball. I absolutely love football. I think football is something that has made me and grew me into the man that I am today. So right now, like, you know, I owe football everything. You're just getting a guy. You're getting a guy that loves the game. You're getting a guy that loves the game. You're getting a guy that's going to love your community. You're getting a guy that's going to do everything he can for your community. You're getting a guy that's going to do everything he can for the school. Like, I want these kids to have the best experiences in high school because I want them to make all kind of memories. And that's who you're going to get, man. You're going to get a winner. That's what you're going to get.
Good stuff, Coach Alphonso Freeney, new head football coach of the Saks Wildcats. Coach, we're excited to have you in the area. Appreciate you taking time to join us this morning. We'll be seeing you around very soon around the Calhoun County area. But thanks so much for coming on with me today.
For sure, man. Thank you so much, and you have a good one.
Thank you. You too. Alphonso Freeney, new head football coach of the Saks Wildcats here, joining us on Southern Sports Now. And Saks fans, I know you're excited to have Coach Freeney here. You know, anytime you get a guy who understands the game, who's played in college, played on that level, I think just hearing him talk for the last, almost 20 minutes we've had him on, like he gets it. He gets the relationships with the players. He gets the game, how it's changed. I think Saks fans, you have a lot to be excited about with having Alphonso Freeney come to your program. So high school football season will be here before we know it. You heard him June 5th. They're going to start workouts. They got some 7-on-7s and things like that along the way. But high school football, I'm excited about it. And just hearing Coach Freeney talk there, it makes me excited to see what he can do with that Saks program. Again, stepping into a program who has won a lot of games, very tradition-rich Saks program. Jonathan Miller spent the last decade coaching there and leading that team to some deep playoff runs, some semifinal appearances, and so Coach Freeney stepping into a very tradition-rich program there at Saks, and I'm excited to see what he can do there with the Wildcats. Certainly excited for some Friday night high school football, and it will be here before we know it. That is for sure, and we'll be talking high school football all summer long, getting you ready for the season to come. We will take a break here. We'll come back, talk some Crimson Tide softball on the other side as Gray Robertson will join us with the Crimson Tide Sports Network. He covers Alabama softball as they get ready for the Super Regionals. We'll do that coming up next.
We're excited to announce that starting this April, we'll be entering into the cabinet business. With that in mind, we're going to change our name to Ted's Floors and Beyond. The Beyond encompasses everything that we do in addition to all of your flooring needs.
We've partnered with Welber Cabinet Company, who makes the highest quality cabinets in the industry.
So when you're ready for a complete kitchen or bathroom remodel, shop Ted's.
EAN Sports is proud to bring you the best, most informative local sports content, and we want your help to be able to do that. If you have a story idea, a tip for our sportscast, or even a highlight clip you want to see on EAN Local Sports, send us an email, eansports23@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter @EAN_sports, or you can send it to the EAN News Facebook page. EAN Sports, bringing you the local sports happening in your community.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings. Stop paying rent for storage. With Waldrop's price per foot, you can actually save money by buying straight from the manufacturer. Waldrop buildings are guaranteed because Waldrop manufactures buildings with U.S. steel right here in Calhoun County. Waldrop Manufacturing, serving the entire Southeast. Give them a call today.
you see some interesting weather phenomenon in your backyard here in East Alabama, send that to us. We would love to hear from you. Send that to us at the email address you see on your screen or through Facebook at EAN News.
Southern Sports Now here on East Alabama Now YouTube channel and Facebook page. Wherever you're watching, we're glad you are. And we've had a loaded show so far. A lot to get to over the next little bit here on this Thursday morning. But we're going to talk some Alabama Crimson Tide softball now, super regional time. And we've got Gray Robertson joining us, analyst for the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Gray, always great to talk with you. How are you, my friend?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing well, and I know it is an exciting time for college softball fans as we've got through the conference tournaments, through the regionals, now on to super regionals, and for the Crimson Tide, 17th time there in the supers. What do you like about this team that you've seen so far?
So many darn things. I think that this is my favorite team that I've ever covered, and not just because of what I've seen on the field. And this has been a different Alabama team, one that has had to improve each and every week. But just the personalities, a collection of people, the leadership from the upperclassmen and the way that the underclassmen have bought in. I mean, this is a team that is so together. They're playing for each other. I love their attitudes. They're all really fantastic human beings, and they're pretty darn good softball players who, as I said, have gotten better. I mean, at the beginning of this year, Alabama was not in a place where they were ready to contend for a national championship, and I think that was different for a lot of Alabama fans, because typically we come into a year and we say, okay, number 5 in the country, and we're just off and running. And this team wasn't there at the very start, but they're getting there. They continue to build, they continue to improve, and they're just continuing the climb up into supers.
Yeah, and last weekend, an exciting weekend in the regionals. Take us through those games last weekend. That was some really fun college softball to watch.
Yeah, it was fun, tense, exciting. We certainly, at the University of Alabama, love to give the crowd something to go home and chat about. I'll tell you, the Sunday games were fascinating. The first game against Middle Tennessee that the Blue Raiders won felt like nothing went particularly right and a couple things went wrong. And that happens in this sport, especially in the postseason. And then the second game came around. Nothing was really going wrong, but nothing was really going right either. And I think it was the third long fly ball from Emma Broadfoot. Prangy and Dowling both hit one, and it ended up a foot shy of the fence. And I remember we went to break, and I looked at Tom. I was like, boy, maybe today's just not the day. And then Allie Shipman said, Gray, you're wrong, and ripped one out to left on a laser. That was the only way anybody was hitting a home run on that day, because of how intense the humidity was and how it was making it difficult for the ball to travel. And just, I'm telling you, I mean, this team, they find ways. They have found ways to win all year, even when it's been tough. I have not been around an Alabama team that has faced more adversity than this one, and they just didn't stop. They didn't give up, and all of that was possible because of Jayla Torrance being as dynamic as she was. We have always known that the talent was there. The opposing batting average stat can tell you that, but to see the mentality with which she pitched in that regional, from the Long Island game to relief against Middle on Saturday to the full complete game shutout to clinch the trip to supers, it was as mentally focused and as sharp as Jayla has ever looked. And it shows me that she has come along so much as a complete pitcher this year. I'm so excited about what her future holds, and it makes it interesting this weekend where, if Montana Fouts isn't able to throw as many innings as I'm sure she would want to, or Alabama would want her to, you've got a reliable arm in Jayla that you can put out there and trust.
Yeah, and I think that's good for people to realize. Montana Fouts, of course, the face of Alabama softball, and rightfully so, and as talented as she is. But there is depth to the rotation there for Alabama softball in pitching. What do we know about Montana Fouts right now as far as the injury, and what's she looking like this weekend?
So she was available on Sunday. We know that for sure. Patrick Murphy went on Full Ride actually earlier today on Sirius XM and said that she was feeling pretty good in practice this week. I've not had a chance to physically speak with Montana or with Coach Murphy, but the way I've kind of been describing it is if she was available on Sunday, then this weekend, conventional wisdom would say she will at least be as available as she was last weekend this weekend. The question was how much availability truly was there? Could she have started a game and gone complete? Was it just 2 innings? I don't know. But I think based on the feelings around the situation, I think that there is certainly a chance that she will throw this weekend. I know that that's a bit of a non-answer, but my fingers are crossed that Montana will get a chance to appear in the circle this weekend.
So offensively for Alabama softball, what have you seen from the ladies hitting, and what can we expect going into this Northwestern series?
Well, this is a really tough matchup against Northwestern. Danielle Williams is one of the best, most experienced pitchers in the entire country, a crafty lefty who uses a lot of spin and has just a filthy changeup. Offensively, I know that Sunday statistically wasn't great, but if you kind of zoom out and look at the last 10, you've got a lot of people who've been kind of ripping it up lately. I mean, Kristen White has been so good in the last, month. In the last 10, she's hitting 333. Callie Hevlin in the last 10 is hitting 360. Shipman's over 300 in the last 10. Dowling's over 300 in the last 10. Prangy, 444. Pruitt, 394. I mean, you've gotten a lot of consistency from different parts of the order. I think you're still kind of waiting for Kinley Cahalan to get out of her little slump that she's in right now. And you'd love to see Jenna Johnson provide a little bit more consistency in terms of just getting on base at the top of the order, but she was dealing with a little injury last week, so there could have been a correlation there. But I think overall, if you're an Alabama fan, you've got to feel as good about the offense right now as you have all year, just because the numbers back it up. But team has been getting on base, and that really hasn't been an issue all year. When the Tide has struggled to score, excuse me, it's been about just getting the runs in. The hits haven't been the problem. It's been the runs. And I think if Alabama can do a little bit more of what they did in the SEC tournament this weekend, then they'll be on the way to OKC.
And that's definitely the goal for the Crimson Tide. We're talking with Gray Robertson, Cutler analyst for Alabama softball and the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Back at Rhodes this weekend. Good home series. I know that's exciting for Alabama to be at home. Always great home crowds for the Tide.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, last weekend was crazy. It was loud from the get-go. And this week, again, Coach Murphy earlier on Full Ride talked about how we're very close to a sellout at Alabama. I believe the word he used, or I guess the phrase he used, was one of the largest home crowds we've ever had. And it certainly helps that the games are at night. I mean, we're talking late night, so people have got time to get all juiced up. They'll tailgate, they'll come and go to dinner in Tuscaloosa and then head to the game. I mean, this atmosphere this weekend is going to be as rowdy as I'm sure I'll have ever seen. And frankly, it needs to be because, again, this is a good Northwestern team. And the biggest thing helping Alabama will be the road atmosphere, and I think also the humidity. If you've got some humid nights, the people coming down from Evanston, Illinois are not totally used to that. So if the entirety of the atmosphere is beneficial towards Alabama, then, I mean, it'll be something Northwestern hasn't really seen this year.
Yeah, for sure. And that should be a fun weekend. There's been 13 Women's College World Series appearances for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Of course, like we said, that's the goal for this year's team. Just you've seen all these games this season from this Alabama team. Do they have what it takes to get back to the World Series and maybe go a long way?
Absolutely. And especially if Montana is able to come back, I totally think that this team has a shot. And again, you know, it comes down to, I think for me, the culture that this squad has fostered. Again, they all believe in each other. And Lisa Fernandez had a quote that's been circulating on Twitter. In the postseason, it's not necessarily about who the best team is. It's about the team who is playing most together. And I think Alabama is a squad that is really playing together right now. They've got a lot of talent, and that talent is being used in a productive way. And the motivation to play for your teammate, to play for the program, to play for the university, I think has been really prevalent all year long. I absolutely think that this is a team that's got a shot to do something special this year. This postseason has been unpredictable. This NCAA tournament has been wild. I don't think anybody in the country expected UCLA to be out by 11 o'clock Central Time on the second day of the tournament. But I know that this team is going to continue to fight and continue to push. And if things can continue to come together, that they can certainly make a run.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, just the field as a whole left in college softball is always fun to watch. Oklahoma, I mean, is still Oklahoma. You mentioned UCLA being out. As you look at softball as a whole, who do you see as kind of the favorites for the remainder of the year?
Well, it starts and stops with Oklahoma. Obviously, that offense, it is not necessarily the power barrage like it has been in the past few years, but they've got more balance, I think, top to bottom, and they've got three really reliable pitchers in Alex Tarraco, Nicole May, and Jordy Ball. They don't make a lot of mistakes. If you commit an error, you might as well leave. There's no reason to keep playing. They're going to score 3 runs on your little bobbled ground ball, and the Sooners are just right now this machine. I don't know what's going to stop them. I know they can be stopped because everybody can be stopped, but we just haven't seen enough evidence of what the formula is to do the stopping. So it's hard for me to put out a game plan. But I think you look at the teams who can best compete with Oklahoma. I think obviously Alabama with a healthy Montana Fouts, I think definitely has a shot against them. Florida State is a team that just feels built for the postseason. They've got a lot of arms in the circle, very deep pitching staff, very experienced lineup that can do a lot of things right. Another team that doesn't make mistakes. I think Florida State is probably one of the teams that has the best chance to beat Oklahoma twice, which is half the battle if you meet up in the Champ Series. And then a team like Tennessee, if they keep hitting it like they have in the last month, then they are for sure a national championship contender with Ashley Rogers in the circle, Peyton Gottschall, and if Carlin Pickens can give them a couple innings or two where she isn't walking people or giving up doubles to the gap, then you've got 3 arms that I think you can trust in Oklahoma City. UCLA going down knocked out a team that I thought for sure was going to contend for a national championship. And I thought coming in was a team that could certainly beat Oklahoma twice, even though the Sooners destroyed them back in February. But it's interesting to see now how the field has opened up a little bit, especially on the right side of the bracket.
Good stuff heading into Super Regionals weekend, and should be a lot of great college softball to come over the next little bit for Supers and then the College World Series. Gray Robertson, you can hear him on the call with the Crimson Tide Sports Network of Alabama softball. Gray, really appreciate you hopping on with us, talking some Tide and some college softball. We'll do it again real soon, but appreciate your time today.
Absolutely. Best time of the year. Super starts tonight. I'm ready to roll. Let's go.
Thanks, Gray. Gray Robertson, appreciate his time from the Crimson Tide Sports Network here on Southern Sports Now. We'll grab a timeout. We'll wrap things up next. Stay with us.
We're excited to announce that starting this April, we'll be entering into the cabinet business. With that in mind, we're going to change our name to Ted's Floors and Beyond. The Beyond encompasses everything that we do in addition to all of your flooring needs.
We've partnered with Welber Cabinet Company, who makes the highest quality cabinets in the industry.
So when you're ready for a complete kitchen or bathroom remodel, shop Ted's.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rodney Sneed from both CARES and Direct Primary Care. Direct Primary Care is an exciting new model of medical care growing on both the East and West Coast. It's been recommended by Forbes and the American Academy of Family Physicians and others for individuals, or small businesses with or without health insurance. The pure simplicity of a membership model streamlines the burden of medical care. It eliminates 60% of the overhead. That streamlining allows providers time to focus on patients with free, no copay, no deductible, unhurried office visits or telehealth visits with minimal waiting room time. It produces same or next day appointments and access by text or telephone during and after hours. It saves you from leaving work, wasting time and getting exposed in a waiting room, and the convenience and cost with barriers removed helps one avoid letting problems like a sore throat turn into an expensive ER or hospital visit for pneumonia. If you're interested, search the web for CARE's Direct Primary Care.
What a great show we've had here on Southern Sports Now as we get ready to wrap things up on this Thursday and get ready for a Friday show and head into Memorial Day weekend. Before we get out of here today, transfer portal season and the Jacksonville State Gamecocks trying to take advantage of that. We've got several transfers into Rich Rod and the Gamecock program. There you see some names on the screen. D2 guy, Jared Bowie. He is a redshirt senior, got a couple of years of eligibility left. He'll be coming to Jacksonville. Quay Drake from Louisiana Monroe, linebacker. He's got a year of eligibility left as he is a redshirt senior. Of course, he played with when Rich Rod was down at Louisiana Monroe. You've got Rashul Faison from Snow College, another D2 guy, a redshirt sophomore coming to play for Jacksonville State. And then this is a big one, ACC transfer here in Dalen Wright, wide receiver from Virginia Tech. He's got 3 years of eligibility left with his COVID year. He's a redshirt junior, and so a big addition there. All those are, but especially a wide receiver, Dalen Wright. Rich Rod going to get the Virginia Tech transfer there to come to Jacksonville State. And so we'll probably see some more names come in to the Gamecock roster, but 4 good transfers as Jacksonville State really working the transfer portal. And they've got – it's an easy sell now for Jacksonville State. Moving up into Division I, into Conference USA, this is the time – players will want to come play for Jacksonville State in this year. One, they've got more scholarships, and two, you're going to be playing on the big stage. You're going to get nationally televised games. You're going to be in Division I football, and so Jacksonville State's got a lot to sell and a lot of good things to sell. The new facility coming soon there will be huge for Jacksonville State and selling their product. And so Rich Rod's got it rolling there in Jacksonville for the Gamecocks. But we'll keep an eye on the portal, see if he can get any more guys out this summer and see what faces will be. Several transferring out, but several transferring in as well for Jacksonville State. That will do it for this Thursday. We will be back with you tomorrow from 10 to 11 with a Friday edition of the show as we get ready for Memorial Day weekend. Appreciate our guests today, Coach Alphonso Freeney, new Saks head football coach, Gray Robertson with the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Appreciate those guys for hopping on with us. Appreciate you for joining us. If you missed any of it, you can go back and watch, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook. You can go back and watch the archived version. You can keep liking and sharing. Would love to hear your comments throughout the show. Be sure to join us tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for Southern Sports Now. Hope you have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll talk to you tomorrow.